All right, everybody. Welcome to the goddamn painstakingly hard to get arranged Red Phillip show.
Wait, let's preface this by saying it wasn't painstakingly hard. It was painstakingly hard for you to fucking show up. No, I just want to clear it up for our listeners.
It was painstakingly hard for me. I'm Red
Like
Phillip
8
or Nick
Viagras.
Gway. Also, Chris Craik or Thor or Dr. Coctopus in the building.
MC Collectopus, you always fuck that up.
Now, listen. We don't even know. We'll start this out. He runs the cult of Black Phillip on YouTube.
He is the cult leader.
We call him because we don't know his name. We've called him the Cult Master. But this is all part of the questions.
Stay that way. It should fucking stay that way.
Do you want to be addressed by any other than the Cult Master, sir? God, are you there?
You can feel free to just call me Lane. That's my name.
Lane.
Yeah.
You want to put your last name out there?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Lane. Yes, I can hear you.
All
Lane
right.
Williams.
Lane Williams. You run the
This
the
is
Cult
some
of
kind of
Black
delay,
Phillip?
I think, when I'm talking to you.
Oh, really?
Bro,
Yeah, it
he's
seems
on the
like there's
West
some
Coast,
sort of
man.
delay because I speak and then you guys act like you can't hear me.
Oh,
But
Christ. Yeah, it takes a little bit. Where are you located?
California.
Oh, that's why. Goddamn. Man. I thought you were in Chicago. You know that? That's why I was fucking. That's why the time zone shit was all off.
No.
Ah. For
No,
fuck's
yeah,
sake.
I'm in Sacramento actually.
Jesus. It seems like the further west you go, the longer it is delayed between us and you.
All right. Well, now we know. So just give yourself a pause after you say something for me to respond.
We're all over it. Then I guess we'll make this kind of quick. I don't know. We got a few questions. It's just
Well, there's got to be a way we can fix it.
yeah, I don't understand it myself. I don't know how the fuck we're supposed to handle that. For fuck's sakes, it's just like a fucking phone call across seas or something.
But I mean, it's the internet, so.
I know. Why is the internet not like fucking immediate?
Well, if you're downloading anything, it's fucking slow. That's what I know. So.
My shit ain't
This is
downloading
all I
nothing.
got going right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I got going too, man.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we'll try and handle it. I don't know.
Can you at least hear me when I speak? Is my mic clear?
Yeah, it's all clear. It's all good.
All right.
You kind of handle the delay. It's no big deal. All right. So listen, we're wondering, how you got into what you do, the cult of Black Phillip and all that. You know what I mean? How'd you start that?
All right. Well, basically started out the same way anyone else does, listening to the Black Phillip episodes. I just found them randomly one day scrolling through the internet off of a complete whim. And after listening to them, I downloaded them all, put them all on my iPod, listened to them at work because I work graveyard. And after I listened to them, at first I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea what Opie and Anthony was. I'd never listened to satellite radio, so I thought it was just some radio show. Like, I thought that there was hundreds of episodes of this that just happened every day. Like, it went on for years. And then I found out that there was only the 12. So then I started looking into who Patrice was, found out that Patrice had actually died about a month before I had found the Black Phillip episodes to begin with.
Oh shit, that's like
That
everybody
sounds
else.
very Shane Carter-like.
Yep.
Well, I mean, not really.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that guy, King
Yeah,
Carter.
fuck him up the ass anyway.
Dude, your story sounds like I think most people that are real fans to it, and I think that's why you're such a big mediator between Patrice's stuff and everybody else, is because everybody seems to have discovered Patrice just little after he died, and everything he said seems to apply to so much in life and so many relationships in everybody's lives.
Well, yeah, definitely. But the thing is, It's a continual process. I've talked to people who found out about Patrice a month before he died, a year before he died. I talked to people who find out about Patrice last week, and they're telling me how much he's helped. So it's an ongoing thing that people are constantly finding out. And in 4 or 5 years from now, when the movement is even bigger, people are going to look at people who found out about him right after he died as like, oh, you've known him for a while. Whereas right now, there's people who've known Patrice since '04, '05, and they're like, oh, you guys are just finding out? What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, there's just it seems to be the story though. Everybody didn't know about him. Then he died, and then it was either just close to when he died or right after that everyone started to see how brilliant this guy really was.
Well, it's almost coincidental that he died because I think people would have found out about him anyways because right when he died is right when he started becoming famous.
Well, that's what makes it such a tragedy.
Yeah, that makes it a tragedy, but I don't think it's so much that people are finding out about it because he died. They found out about it because he was famous, and it so happened that he had died. Because I saw the Charlie Sheen roast. Like I watched it live on TV and didn't know who he was.
Exactly.
So I would have found out eventually.
Right.
I think that's how people found out him because he killed it on that roast. Like he killed it. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't one of those because he died now people know him.
No, but I'm saying that's when he started to blow up because then people are like, oh, who is this dude? But
right. It just so happened that it was like the roast, elephant in the room, and then he died. I believe that's the order it went in, and it was like he just started to do things that got him really famous, or started, started to build his fame the proper way, and then he dies.
I want to ask you something, Lane. What's up, man?
Go for it. This is Chris, right?
Yes, yeah, man. That's what I am. That's what I do. But one thing that Patrice has started doing right before he died, and they talked about this on Opie and Anthony's, how he even said, like, he had to, like, cut the curmudgeonry down. He had to start playing the game. And I'm wondering, like, because right now, me and Redfield, we're both at points of our lives where we're both doing this, but we also realize that, like, because the other people are just such fucking pussies about everything, is we kind of have to play the game a bit too just to get through this shit. And then we have here and other places where it's like an outlet to basically keep it real. Now I'm like wondering, do you think Patrice? Because why else was Patrice on the roast to Charlie Sheen? You know what I mean? Like, if he didn't start playing the game, would he have blown up like he did before he died? That's what I'm wondering. Like, I don't know if he would have.
I don't know if you've listened to him on the Mark Maron podcast, but I think
that's one thing I haven't listened to him on. But I've listened to everything else.
He talks to it about on there, and it was a mix according to the Mark Maron podcast, because I don't want to speak for him, but according to that podcast, he says it was a mix between realizing he had to quit being self-destructive as much as he was, and also that he had a respect for what Charlie Sheen did enough to the point where he felt like it was worth going on the roast for the first time when for so many years he decided he didn't want to. So it was a mix of both, but if he hadn't done the roast, people would still be finding out about him because all of his material. When you think about what's your favorite Patrice material, it's not the roast.
No,
it's up there.
Not. It was just Opie and Anthony just talking.
But that was already all out there anyway, so it would have been found, I think, eventually, but it would have been a much slower build. So not as many people would have found out by now as they had of without the roast.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about playing the game. When you're playing the game, you're kind of fast tracking into, well, really just marketing yourself. You get yourself out there tenfold rather than so much slower with the not playing the game and not being affiliated with such large companies, right? Such large advertisement.
One thing I've seen is that I was watching this. It's on YouTube. You can find it. I don't know if the documentary's still happening, but Doug Stanhope was in it, and the guy asked, like, the person interviewing him asked, does being nice help in comedy, like being a nice guy? And Doug Stanhope said it shouldn't, but it does. And I'm wondering, like, because Stanhope, the guy, he's a lot like Patrice, not the same, obviously, but you know what I mean. It's like the same kind of.
I think Stanhope's much more of a true curmudgeon. I don't think he wants to come out of it. Patrice was a curmudgeon as a result. I don't think he felt like it was necessary.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Because you can tell Stanhope's really fucking just done with the world and shit. But Patrice is like, I just wonder what could have been if, like, because I respect Patrice so much for never playing the game. I respect him, like, that's what it is.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, but, like, I wonder what would have happened had he done it. Like, would he have gone to, like, be Eddie Murphy where he's fucking huge and then all of a sudden now he's doing fucking, like, you know, kids movies and stuff? I just...
No way.
He would have certainly gone on as probably 1C. He used to say that the top 2 comedians in the world were Richard Pryor followed by George Carlin, but it was really 1 and then 1A. He probably would have been 1B right below George Carlin in a lot of people's opinion.
Right.
He probably wouldn't have played the game.
I just recently watched his it was called his final interview with thisis50.com. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Where he said George Carlin and Richard Pryor, right, 1 and 2, and then
No, he said Pryor was number 1.
Well, no, not in the. Or I hate people that. Man, when I say it, I don't give a shit who I said. We know the order is Richard Pryor and then or George Carlin.
All right.
I'm just saying the names. All right, listen.
Okay. All right. My bad.
All he said was everybody else can wrestle for third. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's where he would have wound up. He would have just flattened everybody for third.
Yeah, he would have been third, and then it would have been fight for fourth in most people's. It probably is, and if you follow comedy, that it usually is how it is. Regardless, I put him above Pryor. I have Carlin, then Patrice, then Pryor as who I like comedically.
Well, I mean that's okay. I think everybody has their own. I think in comedy, you could ask certain people, and you could find some very obscure comedians to be their number 1 because the comedian is so subjective. It's like I like that comedy, but someone else might not, right?
Yeah, but as far as people who you look up to go. Patrice is definitely on the top of the list above a lot of other people. So even comedically, you want to argue about it, I would say Patrice was a role model for more reasons than just his comedy.
Of course, hence the cult of Black Phillip, because that is the thing that has spoken so deeply into so many people's lives is his advice on really how to live life and how to deal with other people. Because what even though he was applying it to relationships, it can easily be applied to so many other. When we say relationships, it's not just with a woman; it's everyone.
Yeah, no one wants to see a bitched up guy. That's just how it is. No one likes interacting with a guy who lets you walk over him or who goes out of his way to do things for you when he shouldn't, because it makes his value lower than yours, and you don't expect that.
We know so many people. Like, it's just...
So many.
It's become a thing where, like...
We're Canadians, man. Like, it's a fad here, and it has been for so long.
Well, I live in California, so I definitely experienced that, too. The whole hipster movement and that whole ideology I deal with a lot in my own time. But what I would like to say is that because everyone, I know this because when people discover the cult, they always send me messages and talk to me, and it always kind of starts out with a hatred. And the hatred is there because you hate something, but it's sort of misdirected. I would say that never be mad at the guys who don't know better and who are bitch made.
Well, no, we absolutely cannot. I mean, I think I find myself a little bit sympathetic to that because I was that
exactly
before this stuff, and that was my next question for you was, I want
to interject if I can. I want to interject.
Gee, yeah, go ahead.
No, just because you said something, you said don't be mad at them because they don't know, right? But it's just like, I don't want to come across as condescending, like we're being, like, self-righteous, like, we know more or whatever. But it's just like, at the same time, it's. I think it's hard. And I don't know how you guys feel. I think it's hard to fucking just talk to people it's almost like you're taking a computer and you're putting in a new hard drive. You basically have to start over again. Listen, deal with these people.
Here's the deal: is what he's saying, and what I was trying to say was, you can't get mad at them for that because it really is not their fault. I mean, a lot of these people, it's like, what they said was, a dude would get married to this woman, not really being manned up, and then he becomes her bitch, and then they have a kid, and then that kid, boy, if you like, the boy would see that his dad's a bitch and never get to be taught to not be a bitch, and then he's raised by a woman who is teaching him to be more of a bitch and beating the man out of him, and then he goes on and repeats the process, and that's what. Say that again?
Nothing.
Look,
it don't matter.
But it happened to me. You know what I mean? My parents got divorced, and for 10 years I didn't have like my dad to really teach me a lot of this stuff to be a man, and so I got the man beaten out of me until I discovered Black Phillip. And
it definitely starts a vicious circle,
right?
But the thing is that your anger is there because there's something to be mad at. What I try to make my focus on is when I'm arguing with people, or not so much arguing, but discussing this with people. It's not the people who don't know better, but it's the ones who actually perpetuate that that's the right idea to do. The people in the media who tell you to put your woman above yourself, to put your entire being into making sure this woman's life is better.
To put anything above yourself is not right.
No one should put anything above themselves. Regardless. Like, maybe your child. I've never had a kid, so I can't speak.
Right.
But unless maybe your child.
You can be generous, and you can be, you can be loving and heartwarming and everything, but you can't let anybody bitch you up when they see you doing that. You know what I mean? That's why there's certain people that, like, I guess more me and maybe my friends, whatever. Certain people that are, you know what I mean? You kind of got to gauge it. There's more bitch, and then so if you're naturally if people can like step on you easier, I think you need to be more harsh to kind of combat that, because you can't allow that to happen. You know what I mean? There are certain people that are like tougher against that, so it's like they can allow themselves to be like Dante Nero can allow himself to be. He says, he'll lay out a girl's outfit and then tell her whatever he loves her and be all booby boo boo, and then all of a sudden she'll test him, and then all of a sudden he's like, bam.
It's all based on what you want to do. The idea behind being generous is to have things to give in the first place. If you're giving things that you can't readily give, then you're not being generous, you're being taken advantage of.
That's right.
So the second you don't want to do something, you stop doing it. And that's about as alpha as you could be in your life, is to only do what you want and to not let people force things upon you.
Absolutely. It's a lot of just maintaining your integrity. Do you listen? I would assume you listen to the Beige Phillip show.
I listen every week. I actually have Dante's phone number, so we talk every once in a while. He called me up when the whole Kane Carter thing happened. We were talking for about 3 or 4 days about it.
So that's pretty cool, man. I mean, we talked to Dante as well, and he's actually coming on this show next week. He's going to be he's just going to be talking about his stuff, and that's kind of why we wanted to talk to you about it. And we'd love to have you and him on here at the same time, maybe in a couple weeks or a month or whatever in the future, and to have us all talk about it would be great.
I'm always open for stuff like that, so long as it works out schedule-wise. But one thing I wanted to try to talk about the Beige Phillip show is that there's a lot of, I think, misguided angst towards the Beige Phillip show. I don't know if you see it, but I upload Beige Phillip clips to my YouTube account, and so I see it. And there's a lot of people who watch Black Phillip and the Opie and Anthony clips, and who really enjoy Patrice, but they get angered very easily at the idea of someone else trying to continue on the movement. I
haven't really, I don't read comments on that shit. I hate what people have to say about things like that because I don't care about people's opinions. They just they bother me because it's like most of them are just useless, but they don't understand that there's a philosophy behind it. It's an underlying philosophy. It doesn't really matter who was saying it. like Dante says, it happened back in the day, and like it's evolved and changed so much now that it's so different. So if you have Black Phillip right side by side with Beige Phillip, it's very different. But if you pay attention, there's that underlying philosophy that reigns true.
Well, the whole thing that makes it together for me is that it's like Patrice is gone. That's a fact. You can't create more Patrice material, and so the material, the information, the ideology is so important to men as a whole. It would be irresponsible to just let it die where it is because Patrice died. Mourn him and be sad that he left too early, but at the same point, it'd be like if when Martin Luther King got shot, you stopped fighting for black rights. That would be ridiculous. You have to push it now more than ever because you have to honor the fact that he fought for you in the first place.
And he's no longer around to push it. Like, he's no longer around to do that, so we need way more.
It's better that it be Dante than jackasses like King Carter. Let's be serious.
Exactly, because, I mean, Dante Nero, nobody really gets it, but Dante Nero was like
we talked
half of
about
it.
this.
People,
Dante,
and don't get me wrong, there's not overwhelming hate towards Beige Phillip. It's about an even split from what I've noticed. There's a lot of people who enjoy both, but then there's like a good half that don't like the Beige Phillip show. But most of those people are people who haven't given it a fair shot anyways.
I think a lot of those people might just be, Opie and Anthony fans who maybe they didn't even listen to the Black Phillip show. They just knew Patrice from the show and they liked what he was saying. Because if you really listen to the show, the Black Phillip show, not just Opie and Anthony's show, you realize it really was, it's 50-50. Just because Patrice's name,
I don't.
Monikers on it, but it is 50-50. It's like no one should be discrediting what Dante's doing.
Right. I don't think I again haven't read anything or really haven't looked into what people think of the Beige Phillip show, but I don't think that it's exactly hate. It's more dislike because you know what I mean. It's not like they want Dante dead or anything. They felt like because we can all agree that Patrice had a lot of hate coming. Well, not hate. Sorry, anger. Hate's definitely the wrong word. He had a lot of anger behind what he was saying. And it, you know what I mean? It came off a certain way, and then Dante's comes off a different way. So a lot of people that actually like Patrice and just like the anger behind what he had, they don't like the different. Just to be technical, the different sound,
the different tone of the entire show,
of the entire thing. So it's like I can understand why they don't like it. But I think everybody should give it a shot and just because you can learn a lot. You know what I mean?
But the biggest mistake from that, I would say, is that a lot of people hear the Black Phillip show for the first time, and it's so shocking to them that they want to be what Patrice was presenting. You want to be that alpha male aggressive bear hunter.
Absolutely.
It's respectful. You have respect towards that, and you can't believe someone else would do it. You want to do it. Now, what you have to understand is most people cannot be that. I would say an overwhelming majority of people can't be anything like that. You have to figure out where exactly your game lies and then pursue it from where it is, not to shoot for somebody else's. And so to expect Dante's show to be similar in tone to Patrice's is just ignorant because they're two different people and they approach it from two different angles. He can't have that same anger or aggressiveness that Patrice had because he just doesn't live life that way in general.
All right. For those who don't even know what the hell we're talking about, I don't know. A bear hunter is a more aggressive woman. A bear hunter is a man who hunts a more aggressive woman, typically a bigger, larger woman. She's just fucking so aggressive.
And she got hair too.
Right. Exactly. And as Patrice said, you gotta to catch him, you gotta hit him on the head, knock him out, and drag him away.
Well, and Patrice would see. The thing is, Patrice would go up to her and speak he always said, "Oh, you look like your breath stinks," right?
It's the way the way it works. And I mean, when I say hunting, is like he would come up. You know what I mean? He'd be suave or whatever. Talk to him like, "Hey, I like you. Can I get your number?" Blah blah blah. And then this bear would go, "Rah rah rah, fuck you," and he'd go, "Well, whatever. You look like your breath stinks anyway," and she'd come running after him. So what it is he was a bear hunter because he liked that. A lot of men, I find, that the average is deer hunters, which is less aggressive but not not bunnies, which are just these models that can be made to cry if you raise your voice.
I'd say that bunny hunters are more apparent than people give them credit for.
You think so?
Because a lot of people go to the base of deer when they first hear it and they think I'm a deer hunter, but that's just the default. You actually have to find it. I thought I was a deer hunter for a long time, but I've looked at every girl I've ever talked to and they're all bunnies. So
can we like change that and say bunny trappers, because you can't really hunt a bunny. Because you're gonna go there. You can let them walk over you. You have them in a cage, but they can kind of leave. They're not dead. There's no totality.
Well, listen, I mean, none of them are dead technically. We're not killing these bitches. They're just
but you know what I mean, though. Like,
right? But
you gotta. There's definitely a hunt to it. I'd say when you're talking to a girl who you know has a boyfriend and you're going to fuck her anyways, I think that'd be considered hunting, and that's what you do with a lot of bunnies. Is you take them out of their comfort zone, and then you tag their foot, and you let them back into the wild until you want to catch them again.
That's right. That's fucking great. Tag their foot.
You gotta get a barcode on them. We gotta keep the population in order. We gotta know where these things go.
In the end, I mean, it's all trapping because you're trapping all the animals.
Trap the same
they're not.
Yeah, I mean, the bear hunter's not killing the bear. You're keeping him in a cage.
That's right. You're not killing any of these animals, but the hunt. When we say hunting, it means you're doing what it takes to get near them and get them in your trap. You're following them the proper way. You know how to track them down properly. So hunting is. I mean, you can't. You gotta take the killing out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The killing involved in the hunt is really just banging them.
Well, that's for after though, right?
Yeah. So Lane, the question I don't know if anyone's asking, but the question I got for you is, were you kind of like a bitch before you found Black Phillip?
Oh, I don't think any guy who's so passionate about this entire thing is so because they already thought that way. It's so shocking to them that it's flipped their perspective on its
amazing.
head.
You realize that your entire life you've been thinking wrong. You've been thinking
exactly.
Wrong.
I was absolutely Mr. Monogamy until this.
Same. Say that. What was that, Chris?
So I don't know if I would entirely agree with that, but
Well, dude, I mean, listen, if we can.
I said most.
Right.
If,
if we examine just us three, I was a bitch before Black Phillip, and Lane thinks that he wasn't doing it right. All right, I didn't want to call you a bitch, but okay. We were both bitches before we found them, and I started this show based on it. Hold on.
If you could go back, it's something I've always thought. Like, if you go back before, like, if you could say something to yourself right now, right, before all this, beige Phillip, Black Phillip, all the goodness, all the cult, and all, like, what would it be? You know what I mean? About this, because like this is like something.
What would I have had to say about this before I knew about it? Is that your question?
If you could talk to yourself back then with like the knowledge you have right now, you know what I mean?
I would tell myself that everything I think is a lie, and I'd hand myself a flash drive with the 12 episodes of Black Phillip on it and hope that I fucked the 30, 40 bitches in high school that I missed out on.
Oh, shit.
See, that's fucking great.
Because that's exactly what happened. I look back at my life before I turned 20, which is when I found out about this in the first place.
Wow.
And I just think of all the missed opportunities that were so apparent looking at it now, but at the time I was in the dark.
Absolutely.
And I was trying to pursue all of them actively, but as Mr. Nice Guy, I'll be your friend and see what happens, when that doesn't get you anywhere.
Oh, see, we had a certain different experience. So I love people because everyone fucking goes through different shit. I got.
Did he get got, my friend?
You obviously know that term from Beige Phillip. I got. I was in a 2-year relationship. I was the nice guy.
Let's explain how bad it was. Let's explain how bad
hold on. Listen, it was like, that's from your perspective.
We weren't allowed to talk to each other for
that wasn't fucking
years.
true. You know that. It wasn't an allowed thing. It was like just that obsessive guy spending all my time with her.
She owned your
right?
brain.
No. See, that's the thing. This is why Black Phillip appealed to me so well is because once I heard Black Phillip, I realized that.
What it was? Can I explain what it was?
No. Listen.
You were in the Matrix.
No.
Black Phillip came in, and it was like the blue pill, and then we showed you the real world.
Well, here, like this, what I'm saying is, I was there, and I was in the Matrix and shit. But what I find was when I was with her, I was doing a lot of these things subconsciously, without even knowing them. Just doing a lot of things that just maintain my integrity, because I'm like, I'm not fucking putting up with a lot of this shit, right? So I was doing a lot of this stuff, and that's why we lasted so long. But ultimately, I was just completely whipped, and fucking, I was a bitch. I was a pushover. But I somehow made it last a long time, and then I hear Black Phillip, and it's like, wow, I was doing a lot of these things without even knowing them. But what I find is with Black Phillip and Beige Phillip is they're talking about a lot of guys that don't ask the question why. Why did that work? Why did that relationship last 2 years for me? And then they move on to the next one, and they don't learn a fucking thing from it. And
I have a question for you about that, actually. Did you find out about Black Phillip during, before, or after your 2-year relationship where you got that?
This is interesting. I fucked the whole relationship up. I was just this jealous, dumb asshole. Just kept pestering her about this dude she was talking to. Thought she was cheating on me or whatever, right? Just kept pestering her, and then it ended. And then it was about 6 months, maybe more, maybe 8 months after that. That's when I discovered Black Phillip, and I realized how I could have salvaged the whole thing, how I could have made the whole thing work. And you know what I mean? It's like I really once I discovered Black Phillip, I regretted having lost the whole thing because I really liked her.
Well, here's what happened to me. My story is a little similar to that, and I won't go too into detail. But what happened was I found, by complete accident, a clip of the Black Phillip show 3 days after I'd broke up with my second girlfriend ever.
That's fucking harsh.
And we'd been together for 2 years. We still lived together when I found out about Black Phillip because I didn't have it in me to kick her out of my house.
She was living with you?
She had paid part of that month's rent, so I justified it in my mind that I couldn't kick her out.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, God damn.
So, and my two roommates, it was me, her, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend. And it was the three of us basically versus her, and I was still standing up for her after we'd broken up because I didn't want her to be out on the street.
Well,
was my thinking at the time.
I'm going to assume, was she the one that broke up with you?
No, I'm the one who broke up with her, but I broke up with her because she was basically trying to get me to break up with her. It's exactly what Dante says, and this is one of the quotes. I think this is the best Beige Phillip quote, in my opinion. This is the one, I heard it for the first time on like episode 2, and when I heard it, I was like, Dante really knows this shit. A woman gets with you for everything that you are. She spends the rest of the relationship trying to turn you into everything that you're not. And if she succeeds, she will leave you for a guy who is what you were when she met you. What happened to me?
Correct.
My girlfriend fell in love with me because I did this, I did that.
Who you were. She loved who you were.
I skateboarded. I didn't have a job. I worked part-time at a screen printing shop with my friends making T-shirts. I hung out, made skate videos all day, kicked it in my friend's garage, didn't have a care in the world. She got with me. She made me. I stopped skating a lot. I stopped filming most of my videos. I quit the screen printing job, got a dumb gas station job to afford rent. As soon as we move into our apartment, a few months goes by, she thinks I'm a total bitch, leaves me for some bum from a different city who skateboards with his friends and works in a screen printing shop, except he was on meth, so he was like a downgraded version of me.
Holy shit, but still though, like that's
exactly
similar.
But I allowed it to happen. And
right.
Here's another thing that I've learned over the last about year and a half is that you have to. It takes a long time to get over that grudge. Because at first, when I first heard Black Phillip, I was angry at her for having done this to me. But eventually, I came to my senses and realized I did it to myself.
Yeah.
So it has a happy ending because what ended up happening is. Now I'm single with my own apartment with 3 of my friends who I was skating with at the time she wanted me to stop hanging out with.
With all this knowledge.
Yes, and I have girls coming over constantly, and she's one of them, and no matter what she says, I won't let her go back out with me, and it kills her to this day.
Fucking amazing. That's great, man.
So this shit does really work, and it's not malicious. She loves being around me. I just don't want to have a girlfriend. So she's just one on the team right now. She's on the bench.
Yeah, I got a question.
We're saving lives. We're saving lives.
Yeah.
Like, this shit should be dropped in fucking those UN food packages, and should be distributing it around the world. It save more lives. We're changing the fucking world.
I assume you got lucky. I guess I don't know. All assumptions. I'm curious how you got her to come back and be on the bench like that, because my thought is she obviously was still talking to you. One of the base Phillip, well, I don't know, Dante-isms or whatever is, you can't get her if she won't talk to you, right?
Well, the first thing you have to do when you find out a lot of this stuff is you have to realize that a lot of the emotions you have because you've convinced yourself you need to have them. So I actually refused to have anything to do with her for about 6 months, and it was a little figure it out period that I had.
Dude, you fucking see, you know what? You're lucky. You compared to me, you're so fucking lucky, and this is why. Like I said, because like I said, it was about 8 months. It was definitely more than 6 months because you and I almost went through the same thing. She fell in love with me for everything that I was. She went through the entire relationship trying to change me into something I'm not, which is a jealous fool. I wound up being that, and then she left me, right? But just like you, or unlike you, sorry, she didn't get with anyone right after. She was alone, and I did the same thing as you. I just refused to have anything to do with her. I was like, fuck that. I'm not talking to her. I'm not gonna see her. Fuck that. 6 months later, she comes back to me, right? Still, I have no idea what Black Phillip is or any of this shit. I'm still a pushover bitch. And at the time, I was getting got by another chick that I wasn't even fucking. She was pulling some friends shit on me.
Oh God, not this shit. Oh
God,
dude, you don't understand, homie. You don't.
I have one of those stories too.
Right. So I'm in the middle of this friends bullshit with this other girl, and that's when my ex comes back at going, she loves me, blah blah blah. I still don't know what the fuck is going on, and all I know is I don't know. I can't get back with her right now. I got to see if this is for real in her head. When really I should have had her over and banged her and then fucking kept her on the bench. You know what I mean? But all I did was text her a little bit, and then she wound up getting with this dude who she's with now, and he happens to be exactly who I was when she met me. You know what I mean?
But don't say lucky though, because that's one of those other things that makes your value lower. She's unlucky for you to have not found Black Phillip before she came back, because then she'd be with a better dude.
That's right. You're absolutely right. I feel like you're luckier than me because you found it first. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, she's just a girl. I don't want to assign value to this girl because she's equal with all the new girls I have in my life. Because you, like Patrice always says, you find a girl and you make her your girlfriend. Every girl I'm with is what would be my girlfriend if I needed a girlfriend. Like
Dante says, every girl that you're fucking is a direct reflection of you.
Absolutely. And you can tell, by the way, when a girl is with other guys except you, because they won't agree with you as much because they have another guy's input in their lives now.
That's brilliant.
Every time.
So if you're sitting down and she's like, I don't like chicken no more. And you're like, well, bitch, you've always liked chicken. What's this going? No, I want to have this, for instance.
That is iffy. You have to have a little bit more context than that. But let's say her favorite meal. Let's say her favorite meal is chicken for an entire relationship that you know her, and then one day she decides, I don't want to eat chicken anymore because it's unhealthy for me. Now it is possible that she went up and looked what happens to chicken, realized she doesn't like it, and realized that chicken's unhealthy for you and she doesn't want to eat it anymore. But most girls I talk to aren't that independent and
bright.
Or bright to figure that out on their own, so they would never come to that conclusion. So I assume to protect myself that they're fucking someone else. Yes. And they usually are. They usually are.
He's telling her that chicken isn't that healthy for you. I'm not eating that chicken. That's what he's saying. And she's going, well, how is that? And then he explains.
Because she likes him so much, she now inherits that trait.
Absolutely.
Inherit what trait? Of the new guy that says chicken?
Yeah, of the new guy. That's right.
Of the new guy.
Here's what thing, Lane. We gotta break this down because
But a better example. Fuck chicken. A better example is, let's say, politics. I've met girls who switch their entire. Because first of all, girls have no political view whatsoever, unless they're uber feminists, and then they're usually lesbians, so don't count them anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Most girls' political opinions are based on whichever guy they're with. And if I'm talking to a girl and her views on social issues changes, it's always because of the guy they're talking to. If it's not my view and you've always had my view and now you have a new one, it's because there's a new guy. And I won't listen to you when you say there isn't one because you're a liar and I won't believe you.
Right. For the folks listening at home, these are the things to look for when the relationship is pretty much over.
Say you were always like a libertarian, and then she comes in and goes, Obama's so great, and I love Obama. Obama. Now it's just two things. She could either be trying to not be racist and say she's not racist, or you're saying there's just a new guy who's out there like.
Well, has she been like that before?
It's the change.
I don't have a political party stance, but if I was libertarian and I was talking to a girl and she got mad because she was pro-Obama, she would eventually, maybe not necessarily be libertarian, but she would be pro-Obama. But when I would go on my libertarian rants, she'd look at me, smile, and shake her head like, here he goes again.
She'd be in your corner.
She wouldn't be mad that I was trashing Obama. If she all of a sudden gets mad that you're trashing Obama when you do it all the time, now there's a sign that something's going on.
Of course, everybody's different. Like you can't. These generalizations help the conversation, but you got to realize that everybody's different, and there's so many different angles and variables. Like this chick could be a radical where she loves Obama with this one dude. All of a sudden, she's fucking me, and now, or fucking you, whatever. She's a libertarian now because she's a radical. You know what I mean? In her head, she feels she has to like what you like. And like those are the variables, but you're right. It's like if
a really good example of this is music. If a girl's music taste is one way, and all of a sudden her music taste radically changes, not she finds a new band, but she finds a whole new genre. Most genres of music are associated with some type of scene or movement or ideology. And so if a girl listens to a certain type of music, so do all of her friends. Where is she going to meet someone who listens to an entirely different type of music? She won't, unless she meets a new person. And now she likes his music. Now her music is different because she likes this guy's tastes.
But it's the change. It's the change you have to look for, not what she liked before or what she likes now.
It's not
the
what
change.
She likes. It's the radical change, which if you try to pinpoint it, you're not able to.
It's based on her emotions anyway.
Yeah, exactly. She likes a guy, and if that guy listens to music, she likes that music. And she doesn't even understand it's because she likes that guy.
How would you confront it? Would you instantly just go, so who's the new guy? How would you
It depends on
those are the variables.
When I notice things like this, because first of all, I don't have a girlfriend. I have girls who I hang out with. So I make a point not to be jealous, so that way when they see me texting someone and they go, who are you texting? I go, none of your business, and I throw it back in their face, because I don't pry into their business. But I do take note when I see things that makes it seem like they're talking to other guys. And how you handle that just depends on where you want to take it. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I'm a little offended and I make a scene out of it. One time I saw this girl texting, and she was texting too frequently to be texting one of her friends. She was texting another guy. But she was at my house hanging out with me. I was having like a little kickback, a little party at my house.
It's weird how you notice those things, eh? How can, you would never expect another person to understand that just texting more frequently is it's showing something like that. I found that myself.
It's definitely habit. It's definitely habit, because usually at these things, this said girl would be all around me. She would be next to me, always talking to me, annoying the shit out of me. When she's not doing those things, she's not doing it for a reason. She's not in the corner mad at me for something I said, so what is she doing? She's texting. She's got to be talking to somebody. Yeah. She has maybe half a friend, so she's not talking to her friends. So who is she talking to? She's got to be talking to a guy. And I'll say, this is, if you believe this kind of stuff, whatever you believe, you have to be ready to say it to her. I tell girls to their face all the time, you have no friends.
Yeah.
First of all, find some friends, because I don't want to always be the one you're talking to.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, they're not really friends in the first place. They're just girls that hang around each other and talk to each other behind each other.
Yeah,
they're not friends.
That's one thing that I think I noticed this. I must have noticed this at least in high school, that girls are not friends like how dudes are friends. They can't be. There's just no way for it to work.
That's why when we get on the friend subject, especially Lane, like that girl that I was talking about, where I was getting got with the friends bullshit, that actually played out nicely for me, because I discovered Black Phillip and Beige Phillip all at that time, and I was like, fuck this. I dropped her like a bag of bricks, you know? And nice. The other one, that is my friend's cousin, she's just playing this girl bullshit, and all of us were just a bunch of fucking pussies, and we wouldn't tell her. So I just, like, as soon as I discovered this shit, told both of them, like, fuck off, basically.
Here was what happened. Here's what happened. It's like,
not so many words, but then I was like, you two go be friends with each other, because what they were was two girls that want to be one of the guys, and then
I fucking hate that.
Then they spring the girly shit on you, and then it's like, well, you don't understand that just because you switch back into a girl sometimes doesn't mean that we're ever going to switch back into fucking girls, so don't bring that girl shit here. Go talk to each other with that.
I had discovered Patrice O'Neal, Black Phillip, Opie Anthony, all that good shit. I'd been listening to it for months, but I was away for school, 2 hours away in a big city, right? And then I come back, I drop this shit on this motherfucker. I'm like, check this out, man. I think this is going to help you out. Because, you know, let's be serious. Nick was, up until that point, a complete bitch. 100% bitch.
I don't deny it.
Like, I had come back the next weekend after that, and then, like, I see him before this talking to her, just upstairs, because she had lived, like, an apartment upstairs, right? You know what I mean? In this building. He's up there. I'm down with my boy. We're playing some video games. He's up there just talking to her about shit for, like,
an hour. Not even. Or more, sorry. Probably more than
because
an hour.
I had come over after it was already gone on for a while.
Specifics don't matter, but I was up there.
No, specifics don't matter.
Talking to her about
a week later, though, I come back. This dude's like, just
making her cry.
Just get away from me, ho. Like it was unbelievable. I didn't understand the change. I didn't understand that I had created a fucking Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, he showed me the Black Phillip show, and that week, like he showed me that weekend, all week. I listened to all 13 episodes of the Black Phillip show and every Patrice O'Neal shit I could find. And then that next weekend, he's back, and I'm telling this bitch to fuck up.
I think that's how it happens for everyone. Once you start hearing it, it's a drug. You have to keep getting a fix.
You binge.
Well, it's especially shocking when you've never heard anything like that before. You can't believe that someone is even saying it because you didn't fathom it could happen yourself. You never once dared to say it.
I think the thing was, I had been saying this shit to fucking Nick for years, but I wasn't eloquent enough to be able to put in all the words where they're just fucking hitting, like the way Patrice's
that's an interesting point you bring up, because when I was Mr. Monogamy, you know, when I turned 20, before then I'd had 2 relationships, 1 year-and-a-half relationship that started when I was 15, and 1 2-year relationship that started when I was 17. My entire life was me. My entire young adult life was pretty much me and then a girlfriend. That's what I knew, and was surrounded by friends who would, you know, hook up with girls at parties. They would meet girls on the internet, go fuck them and their friends, and then never talk to them again. And they would always tell me, you should come here with us, you should go do this with us, you should go to the strip club with us, do all these things. But they never had a solid ideology for why they were doing it.
They never asked why.
It was just fun. Yeah, it was just fun, and they were doing it. Those same guys now who look at me and see that I'm doing what they used to do, they're now in steady relationships with girls they hate and all have kids. Because they weren't conscious about what they were doing. They were just acting in the moment. If you're going to act a certain way, you have to know why you're acting like that.
You gotta have rules. You have to have a code to follow.
I'm glad I never got sucked into that, even though I was getting taken advantage of by these 2 girls for the most part, because I'd be stuck. My brother is stuck with a girl. They can't stand each other, and they have a 2-year-old kid. They're going to be in each other's lives forever now. When all he had to do, and this is always the girl that gets them too. You're a party guy. You fuck bitches all the time whenever you want, and then you meet the one girl who you kind of have feelings for, and you think you're supposed to settle down. And that's what happens when you don't have the ideology to back it up.
Yeah, she beats the shit out of him with his emotions and then just takes over.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Chris, you always have had this, like you said, you've been saying it for years, you had this stuff in your head, you just didn't, the Black Phillip stuff, you've had that stuff in your head, or, and you couldn't put it in so many words, but, the difference between you and me and Lane is me and Lane never really even we never thought this shit in our heads.
Sorry, I didn't even hear what you said. People fucking walk in my room all the time. So.
You should beat the shit out of them because I'm fucking up the show. I'm gonna fucking asshole.
No, I have to get a lock on this door. It's just...
Oh, fuck, I'm getting pissed. Listen.
Okay, say what you guys were saying before. Yeah. I missed about the last minute of what you guys were saying.
Next time someone walks your fucking baseball to the head. Anyway, look, the difference between you and me and Lane is you kind of had these things in your head and you didn't know how to say them in so many words, but what Lane is saying is me and him never thought this shit, and then we discovered it and it hit us. That's why we're so much more passionate now, and you're kind of just like, yeah, that's cool shit, because...
Well, let's. Would you say, Chris, that it's not that you always thought this, but you kind of wanted to be what you are now, you just didn't know how to do it?
I still don't know how to do it. That's the fucking problem. I don't know how to do what you guys do. And what I mean by that is I'm just such a curmudgeon and a angry, in quotations, person where I can't even handle girls' bullshit even a little bit. I have to instantly point out, and everything becomes a fucking philosophical argument or a fight with everyone. I have to defend like this shit all the fucking time.
Here's where I noticed that this is like one of those moments where I was like, oh, I'm a bunny hunter, the frail girls. Right. I was listening to the Black Phillip show, and for my second time through, it was my second loop listening to them. I'd already listened to the Beige Phillip show, and I was listening to it, and the way Patrice was talking about certain things he didn't like women doing, I can't quite name it. It's just little things. It's not that he was wrong for not liking it, but I was like, I don't mind that. I don't mind when girls are dumb or goofy. Here. I like to be the guy that guides them and teaches them the way it should be. And if they don't get it, then I'll guide them through it. I'm only mean when they become abusive, when they are trying to take an advantage of me, and then I show them that you couldn't take advantage of me if you tried.
Well, I think the way Patrice put it, what you're trying to say is, he said that it was like, Patrice is kind of mean all the time, but Patrice is different, right? Patrice had that anger and everything, but it was when they challenge you like that, when they try to take advantage of you like that, if it's a dojo, like he said, that's when they try to fight for their black belt, and they come to take their black belt, and you flip them on their fucking head and crack their skull open because they're not ready for that fucking black belt.
And that's how I feel just walking through life. It's not just with girls, it's with fucking everyone. It's just like, I'm like, how could you possibly, why are you in this dojo with me? I'm on a different level. How could you possibly think this? Like, I'm insulted that you even think that your opinion or what you're thinking, how your emotions and your feelings are. I'm insulted when they think that they're making sense. But I break it down logically. I give them options. This is what I want to ask you before is, how do you handle giving bitches options on how to feel about something when they're so rooted in just how they fucking feel? How do you do it without... Because I don't know how to do it without...
I've never put this into an actual verbal thing before, but I think I pretty much got it. When I'm talking to a girl and she thinks a certain way, if I don't like the way she's acting and what she's doing, I tell her, you can either do this or you can do that, but I don't like what's currently happening, and until you make up your mind, I'm not talking to you anymore. So now, if you're a credible guy, and if you're worth being around, she's going to lose her mind that you're away from her, and she's going to have to make up her mind about what she wants.
Yeah. There's a story that Dante Nero told. he said that he was dating he's fucking a bitch. I don't know if he's dating her, but she was an actress or something, and she was available to go hand in all her her shit that she's done in acting and everything for a play to the director or whatever, but she didn't know. She was all like, I don't know what's gonna happen, I'm scared, blah blah blah. And he goes, bitch, if you don't go give him that shit, or until you give him that shit, I'm not fucking you anymore. And then he stopped. He stopped seeing her, obviously. She went and did it, and then he was fucking her again. But
to even do something like that, you have to have self-value. You can't say, I'm going to stop fucking you, and then hope that you're good enough at fucking for her to take that threat.
I mean, obviously, because Dante is a fucking. We all know that Dante was, fucking 11 bitches and all that shit. So he's taking away what is valued to them. You know what I mean? And that's where that happens. Is like, what's valued to the girl is your time spent with her. So if you take that away, and you know what I mean?
But I think what question was more. It was like, if you're to say that you're giving a girl options about something implies that she's acting or doing something a certain way that she shouldn't be. So you have to show her that there's another way.
Like he's just retarded. Right. How the fuck do I say that? Because a lot of times
you say literally. I would say that I've said to girls several times that's fucking retarded. Yeah. But you say it. You don't say it to make them feel bad. You say it as if it's a fact. You say it like
righteously.
Wow, yeah, that was dumb. Okay, did you ever stop to explain that? I think one of the best things Patrice ever said was, if you ever want to dumbfound a girl, just ask her why.
That's what I always do, and then I realize they don't have I'm like, and then I go in to see, you've never had to have another reason.
Okay. So let's get to. So when you say that, what is the response you normally get? Because when I do that, when I explain to them that you've never had a reason to think differently, that usually follows up with them being intrigued by me, and eventually,
yeah,
how do you
follow it up?
I usually get followed up with, oh, you're just a dick or an asshole, and then I try to break it down for them. So, no, see, I'm not. I'm explaining.
I think, Chris, possibly that your intentions, how you're coming off.
I know. That's the sense. What I was trying to ask before. How do I do this?
It's to hurt, not to help.
What type of girls are you talking to? Like what?
That's a good point.
It seems
I'm immediately thinking they're bunnies because they just get. It's like I don't. You just get hurt so easily. I don't know.
Or do they stop talking to you because you speak this way, or you assert that this is what you believe in? Do they not want to be around you anymore, or do they get sad? What is their response to this?
They just get shocked. It's like I don't know how to even describe it. It's like if someone just came to them.
Are they girls you're actively pursuing, or are they just girls that are around? Because that makes a difference too.
Some of them have been girls I'm actively pursuing, but then I just realized that if they can't even handle this, how are they going to handle the abyss?
You have to always be ready to lead a girl through the abyss, because none of them know how, regardless. You're not going to find that girl who hears what you're saying and goes, you know what, I've always thought that, because it's not beneficial for a girl to think this way, because they could just take advantage of you. That's what they want to do. So why would they ever think the way that we think if that's never been presented to them before?
It's fucking brilliant. That's exactly what it is.
I don't know how to do it because I'm very outspoken. I'm very outspoken. I'm trying to find out, because that's the thing. When I saw Patrice O'Neal, right, I saw myself like in the same mannerism, the same way of talking, everything. And that's why I'm like, how the fuck did he do it? Because he was righteous 24 hours a day.
How old are you? How old are you?
22. I am 22.
All right. Well, let's put it like this. Patrice O'Neal wasn't pimping bitches till he was like 36.
That's right.
So to say that you're 22, if you already think this way, if you give it time and work on your method, the rest should follow suit.
You gotta lay the 5 bricks, as Dante says.
You can't expect to suddenly change and to have it work this way. If you present yourself as you're presenting yourself constantly, and you're not doing it in a way to be mean to these women,
how
then
do I do it in a way to not be mean?
Because you can't be like, your intentions are to hurt. Your intentions are going to be to help. Like, what you're saying to them, anything you say to them is to help. It's not to hurt them.
The way that you're saying that these girls are coming off, it sounds like I've had it happen to me before, but it was always guys, girls. I never had that happen to a girl I was speaking to intimately. It was always my friend's girlfriend heard me and him talking and went, how the fuck can you think that? And then I have to explain it to her, and she's standoffish because she's looking at her guy like, you don't think this, do you? But they're always my friends, so they look at me and go, you better listen to him because he knows what he's talking about. So I've only experienced what you're saying to strangers or to acquaintances. I've never experienced that to a girl I'm actively talking to. So if you're actually talking to these girls with the idea of being in a relationship with them, I would say that either you just need to keep piling through until they get it, or you're coming on too strong.
How do I this is why this is good for me. This is like breaking
this is
down
great for him, man.
I'm enjoying this. I probably am coming on too strong, but see, because Patrice always said, I believe he said these. If he didn't say it, it was completely implied that he'd rather have hate or love, but she can't be. Maybe it was.
No, what he said was he doesn't mind it when a girl hates him because he can take hate and turn it into love because emotion is emotion.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm
It's a fine line.
You do that.
Are you trying to do that because that's how you feel like it should go, or are you trying to do that because that's what you want to happen, because that's what you respect more? Because I'm not capable of doing that. I've tried to do that to girls, and I realize that I just can't do that because once I see that they're hurt, I kind of start to shut down, like, oh, I didn't want to make them sad, and then once that happens, they're like, oh, he's not pressuring me anymore, and then it kind of just negative and negative don't react to each other, so it's just nothing happens. You have to either believe that that's the only way you can do it, or maybe that's not the method you should be using, because I can't do that. I've tried to do that to girls, and it doesn't work. I can't make a girl hate me. If a girl does hate me, I don't mind it, but I can't just make a girl hate me with the intentions of her liking me. It's just not how I do it.
This is fucking, like, I want to enlist this motherfucker as my psychiatrist. I swear to God, because it's just breaking me down, and I feel like it's gonna help me.
Lane, you've been great, man. Unfortunately, we got to wrap it up. You know, it's been about an hour. It's been good, man. I think this has been a really good episode, one of our best. It's unfortunate that it took me so fucking, my schedule and bullshit to fuck everything up. And
it's no problem. Everybody has priorities.
I definitely gotta address that fucking, that letter I wrote to you. I wrote that because it was the day after that I'd fucked everything up, right? I hadn't realized or something that, so I went out to Ottawa. I was out there and I couldn't do anything. And then me and Chris are talking and we're like, you know what? This is the kind of scheduling bullshit that can't be happening. It's so unprofessional. Lane's probably not going to want to fucking deal with us now because, I made us look like a bunch of assholes. So that was that letter, right? So that explains that, I guess. Just that scheduling bullshit was horrible. Just,
it's not. It happens. It's really not a problem. Yeah. I have a really messed up schedule as it is because of my work, so.
Right. We'll get on a better schedule. I had no idea you were in California. Thought you were in Chicago. Time zone bullshit. We'll handle all that. I don't know if you happen to have anything to plug, anything you want to put out there?
Call to Black Phillip on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are the only things I'm really working on right now.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. It's important. This
it's good shit.
This shit is, to me, and this is going to sound funny, it's like a higher priority than fucking world hunger and shit. Because this shit, there's no point in living life if we can't even fucking enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Right. I'd like to plug our shit. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to us. Check us out on Facebook.com/TheRedPhillip Show, Twitter.com/TheRedPhill, TheRedPhill. We are no longer on YouTube. They can go fuck themselves. Lane, I don't know. You obviously don't know. We got disabled off of YouTube because for 2 weeks because we had the word rape in our latest episode. And
I have that in 7 videos. They never said nothing to me.
ridiculous. Our first offense was I had a picture of a girl, titties out.
That might have done it.
That was our first offense. So the second offense happens to be having the word rape in the title, and I'm not kidding you. The whole thing was Mark Nabong debates rape jokes. That was our title. Anyway, yeah, they disabled us for 2 weeks, so we're like, you know what, fuck them. So everybody, you can check this episode out and every other episode out on Spreaker.com. Just search The Red Phillip Show. You'll find all our episodes there. Lane, I'd like to thank you for coming on, man. It's been great.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
You can come back on any time. I don't know how often you want to come on, whatever. Just talk to me and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll keep in touch, man.
I think man, with Lane, it's just like he's taken he's like taking what I want to be and fucking doing it more at a higher level. It's like I'm like down here in single A, and I'm like, man, I'm striking everyone out, but he's doing it in the fucking major leagues, man. That's
Master.
what I'm saying.
All right,
hey, it's still a work in progress.
Exactly.
It don't matter because I'm fucking convinced, man. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace.